Davy and Finn were arguing again, and my head hurt from them and from the heat. Autumn, and still so hot. "I'm telling ya," Finn was saying, "we should have bagged that pole. Ritta was just talking yesterday about how weak his main strut's been getting, and he's got good hands. He'd have helped your dad net for a month, Neil, if we'd got that pole for him. It was good and strong. It would have lasted about a hand of years if... Would you close your hole and give us quiet?" Davy growled impatiently. "If you want the pole so bad, go back and get it yourself. Both nails for Roy and the tarp for Audie, not to mention the flowers for Hush," Finn got in, shooting a grin to me. I scowled, half from my head still hurting and Finn not helping with his jabber, but half from embarrassment. I didn't think they noticed when I slipped the little purple flowers into my pocket. They grew only in the city, and Hush liked them. I would ask her to gather grass with me and give them to her then, after all the forage was traded. We weren't a secret anymore, really, and she teased me for still acting like it. "Leave them be, would ya?" Davy muttered, and Finn did, on account of Sesso dying so recent. Only 2 months into his year of mourning, she was still fresh gone for him. In the end, we weren't real sure if it was the creeping rock or the dry lung which got her, but it was no pretty thing anyway. Sesso was never strong, but loving Davy made her seem like it. We walked away with quiet after that, the sounds of our feet bouncing back to us from the crumbling walls of the high houses. I'd gone with Davy into the old city for 3 years out of my 3 hands in one, and it never had got comfortable for me. Finn joined us last year in spring, and never seemed to feel anything about it after the first days of open-jaw gawping. Davy had been coming to forage the city for near on 4 hands of years now, and he had done well for himself in Sesso. All kinds of useful things were here in the city, waiting to be brought out and used, so trading was always good. For a long time, it was him and Tally who foraged, but Tally got old a hand of years ago, so Davy took on me and Finn. Not many want to go into the city because so many thought bad lights would get them, but Finn was like Davy's son, so no one was surprised that he asked him. I think he asked me so that I will keep Finn using attention once Davy gets old and stops coming. Walking between the high houses with the gather sack full and heavy over my shoulders, I tried to see the city how old Ma said it used to look in her stories. She said that it didn't used to be gray and falling down, but shining like the lake on a bright day, and the people living in it were so smart and powerful that they could make metal fly in the sky and fix any sickness. She had never seen the city as it was in the old days, any more than anyone else, but she did sure sound like it at night around the fire when the stars were out. No one had seen it as it was since our long-past parents fled when the city burned. As minnows out fishing, we told each other that there was no way that anyone could make a bunch of metal fly in the sky like a bug or a bird, but after I went to the city for the first time, I doubted our certainty.